Good morning. So this will be an upper body strength class today. And so as far as props go, I have just a little 10-pound kettlebell here. And you don't have to use any kind of weight. There will just be one thing that we'll do with it. I've got a 10-pound kettlebell. You could use any size of a dumbbell, something that you can lift like for repeated repetitions. So not something super heavy. I mean, you could even grab like a jug of juice or milk or a shopping bag with some stuff in it. We're just going to work on some pulling strength. You know, in yoga, we do a lot of pushing. So we'll just do a little bit of pulling as part of our flow today. So if you want to grab a little weight, you can grab a little weight. And we'll just be using it for one thing. So if you don't have anything, it'll be totally fine. You can use your body for it anyway. So just to start and to center, this month we're talking about the vijnanamayakosha. And as we go through these koshas, it's like just peeling off layers of an onion. And we get deeper and deeper, closer to our essential nature. And, you know, just like a Russian nesting doll, right? We can't get to the center, the center without opening the outer layers, right? There's the bigger one, and then the smaller one, and the smaller one, and the smaller one. And so it's really helpful for us to unpack all of those things. We've talked about our physical body and just really getting acquainted with that. And it's our physical body that really keeps us in the here and now, that is, you know, our connection to the present moment all the time. It is our tool of perception and sensing. It's so important. And that's why we move our bodies, so that we get more familiar with them. And then we can use that tool to go deeper through the deeper layers. And the vijnanamayakosha is the wisdom body, or the personality body, getting closer to our own essential nature. And one of my favorite personality typing tools or ways to explore personality is called the Enneagram. And so I'm just going to read a little from this book, The Wisdom of the Enneagram, by Don Richard Riso and Russ Hudson. And it's just important that we think about this as when we're exploring ourselves. Often we are looking for flaws to fix. Okay. But they say one of the major obstacles to transformation is the idea that we can fix ourselves. So as I read through this, I want you to think about that. Whatever we find, whether pleasant or unpleasant, and this is in our self reflection and our self-observation, we simply observe it. We do not try to change it, nor do we criticize ourselves for what we uncover. To the extent that we are fully present to whatever we find in ourselves, the constrictions of our personality begin to relax, and our essence begins to manifest more fully. Unlike what our ego may believe, it is not our role to repair or transform ourselves. Indeed, one of the major obstacles to transformation is the idea that we can fix ourselves. This notion, of course, raises some interesting questions. What in us do we believe needs fixing? And what part of us is claiming the authority to be able to fix another part? What parts are the judge, the jury, and the defendant in the dock? What are the tools of punishment or rehabilitation, and what parts of us will yield them on what other parts, or will wield them on what other parts? We're programmed from early childhood to believe that we need to be better, to try harder, and to discount parts of ourselves that other parts do not approve of. The whole of our culture and education constantly reminds us of how we can be more successful, desirable, secure, or spiritual if only we change in some way or another. In short, we may have learned that we need to be different from how we actually are according to some formula the mind has received. The idea that we simply need to discover and accept who we actually are is contrary to almost everything we've been taught. Clearly, if we are doing things that harm ourselves, such as abusing drugs and alcohol, or engaging in destructive relationships, pin my video. Or criminal activities, then stopping that behavior is necessary before we can do meaningful transformational work. But what usually enables us to change is neither haranguing nor punishing ourselves, but cultivating a quiet, centered awareness so that we can see what is compelling us to harm ourselves. We don't need to fix anything. We just need to observe and get out of our own way. When we are fully present, old habits let go, and we are no longer the same. It says, always remember that it is your birthright and natural state to be wise and noble, loving and generous, to esteem yourself and others, to be creative and constantly renewing yourself, to be engaged in the world in awe and in depth, to have courage and to rely on yourself, to be joyous and effortlessly accomplished, to be strong and effective, to enjoy peace of mind, and to be present to the unfolding mystery of life. And we don't have to fix anything. It doesn't mean that we don't have flaws or that there's nothing off, right? Or that there are not things that we might need to change. But it's actually the observation and the acknowledgement that a lot of the habits and patterns that we fall into have a purpose, that we have done those things for a good reason, in our own self-interest, whether they're skillful or not, or helpful. There's always been an underlying effort to fulfill our most deep fundamental needs. And when we just start to observe those things without judgment, then we can start to understand them and release the grip, right? And just let those layers fall away. So that's my invitation to you today, to let go of any clasping effort on self-improvement, but just to find some open, kind allowance for things just to fall away, the things that no longer serve you. So go ahead and find a comfortable seat and sit tall. And just bring your awareness to your breath. And for a few breaths, just hold on to that hum, sa mantra. Hum on the inhale, sa on the exhale. I am that. And that innate goodness that's connected to the divine. And as you breathe, let your rib cage expand in 360 degrees. And let this be conscious. Let yourself use some effort with your breath here. Think about breathing into your back lowest ribs. And letting your belly get involved. Letting your belly have space on your inhale. And letting everything draw back in with your exhale. And we'll just move into some neck circles. So you can keep your eyes closed or let them open, but just drop your chin to your chest. And just feel that stretch at the very top of your back. And then rock your right ear toward your right shoulder. And then turn your chin toward your shoulder. And then just rock your ear back toward your shoulder. And then dip your chin back into your chest. We'll just do that to the other side. Rock your left ear to your left shoulder. And then just rock your chin toward your shoulder. Unwind your chin. And then bring your head back down, chin to chest. And now we'll go for a full circle. So first, just turn your chin toward your shoulder, your right shoulder, and then drop your ear to your shoulder. And then you can let your chin reach toward the ceiling. And then left ear to left shoulder. And then turn your chin toward your shoulder. And rotate down towards center. And we'll switch directions. So just take your chin toward that left shoulder. And then drop your left ear to your shoulder. And then let your head tilt back any amount. Right ear to right shoulder. And then chin toward your shoulder. And then go ahead and let your head hang heavy. And then just lift your head up. And we'll do some circles with our wrists. So just take one hand and just grab your forearm, let your other hand be palm face up, and then find a fist. Just close your thumb over the top of your fingers and then find some extension of your wrists. So really push your knuckles toward the floor and then flex through your wrist with all your might. I'm going to try to keep your forearm really still and just go back and forth here. So we're going to work on some upper body strength today and work on our push-up. So if you just came, you can have some kind of a weight heavy. We'll only use it once, but handy, not heavy. I've got a 10-pound kettlebell. You could grab a little dumbbell or a bag with some books in it, just something. Okay, now we're going to move into circles. So flex your wrist and then rotate toward the pinky edge and then try to go all the way down to extension, push toward your thumb edge. But try to keep your forearm still so you're not rotating through your forearm, and go pretty slow. Try to go through the full extent of your range of motion here as you move around through your wrist. And then switch directions once you come up to your flexion, push over to the thumb side and around. And just do like 3 or 4 pretty slow, full circles there. And then just shake that out. And then reach your arms out in front of you, palms facing each other, and just lift your shoulder blades on your back and lower your shoulder blades on your back. Just elevate and depress, and try to let this movement come from your shoulder blades on your back. Just lifting and lowering. And then we'll switch, just protract. So reach your shoulder blades apart, kind of reach your fingers toward me, and then draw them together. But try just moving just your shoulder blades. So you could do this kind of a movement, maybe just using your arms, but think of this happening from your back body. Just protract and retract. Let's just do that one time there, and then we'll switch to our other wrist. So release your arms, just hold on to the other forearm, find your fist, and then a few times just really flex your wrist. So draw those knuckles toward your forearm and then extend and dial those fingers toward the floor. And just go back and forth there. And really try to go as far as you can using that muscular strength. And then next time you come to flexion, just find your circle. So push over to your pinky side and then extend through your wrist and then come up through the thumb side. And go pretty slow and keep your forearm still. So you're not rotating through your forearm, you're just doing this through your wrist. And after you've gone 3 or 4 times in one direction, go the other. You might have little creaks and cracks and pops. That's totally normal and fine. And you might notice it gets smoother after a round or two. All right, and then release that, kind of shake it out. Reach your arms out in front of you, and now we're going to take our shoulder blades into circles. So protract your shoulder blades. So reach your fingers toward me, spread your shoulder blades apart on your back, and then elevate. Lift them up, draw them together, and then let them come down. Wide, lift, together, lower. Wide and lift, together and lower. That one more time. And then we'll switch. So draw your shoulder blades together and lift. Bring them wide and lower. Together and lift, wide and lower. And just move through those circles. And then release. And shake it out and come onto your hands and knees. If you're sitting on something, you can just push that out of the way. And just kind of get yourself set up here and find some circles. So just hands and knees, just move your body in circles or over your wrists. And then you can switch directions. And then we'll come just to center, neutral place. And we're going to work on some palm raises. And so you can start kind of with your hips back towards your heels a little bit. And we're going to work on moving them both equally at the same time. So you'll push into your 4 fingers, your thumb will come up and get light. But you'll push into your fingers, lift your palms up, and then lower. Okay. And try to do it slowly, lifting both of your palms and lowering. Now, the more your shoulders are centered over your wrists, the more load you'll have in those forearm muscles. So you can decide, we're going to work toward 10 here. That's about 4 for me. And try to go pretty slow. Let's do 2 more. And then release that. And start finding those same scapular circles here on your hands and knees. So you've got your hands connected to the floor. So you're pushing the floor away. As you draw your shoulder blades together, bring them down your back, spread them apart, and lift them up. And after you've gone 5 or so times in one direction, see if you can switch. Now, it's a brain exercise, but try to keep this out of your spine and just in your shoulder blades. And then end that other direction. Okay, so knees are still under your hips. We're going to lower elbows to the floor. So your forearms are going to come to the floor, and then you're going to push back up. Okay, to straight arms. And just do 10 of those. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And step your right foot just forward outside your right hand and come up into a low lunge. Engage through this left glute and just reach your arms high. And pause there. And then bring your right hand to your hip, and we'll just do our shoulder cars with this left arm. So lead with your thumb, and then you can rotate open, and then switch directions. So lead with your thumb till you can't anymore, and then you can lead with your pinky. And try to keep your rib cage pointing forward. So your ribs are not getting into this movement. It's just your shoulder. And just do one more back and forth. And then take your right leg and put it straight out to the right. So your heel is in line with your knee. You're at 90-degree angle. And then bring your right back of your right hand inside that right knee. And just find a nice stretch here. So flexing into that ankle, opening through your chest. And then bring that left hand down in front of you like you would for a table, but keep your legs as they are. Really push into the pinky edge of that right foot. And inhale your right arm up. And then exhale, just twist and reach past your rib cage. And just do that 4 or 5 times. Moving with your breath. Inhale that right arm up, and then you can just bring that right hand down. Lengthen your right legs back behind you, and then cross it behind your left and bring it down, and then just kind of push back into a little cross-legged child's pose. Stretch through your outer armpits and into your hips, and then rock back forward onto your hands and knees, and we'll do another round of those strength drills. So palm raises. You can bring more load this time by bringing your knees back. The more your shoulders are over your wrists, the more of a load it'll be. But think about lifting both hands evenly and lowering slowly together. And we'll do 10. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, and you can choose this time. We're going to do into those scapular circles. So you can be in more of a plank, or you can even lift your knees up, but drawing those shoulder blades toward each other and apart at the same time as you're circling. So try to go each direction 5 times. If it takes my breath. switch directions. And then go ahead, bring your knees down, and we'll lower and lift our elbows. So hands down still, and find some external rotation of your upper arms. So think about taking your elbow creases and pointing them forward, and then lower to your forearms and push up. You can play, maybe doing that from a dolphin if you want more of a load. Let's do 3 more. And then come back to your table. Step your left foot forward and come upright. And then we'll find that shoulder car with the right. So just reach with your thumb back and around. And really exploring the full range of motion of that shoulder. Trying to keep your ribs forward. So you're using just the muscles around that shoulder to find your rotation. And just do 1 more back and forward. And then we'll find that hip opener on the other side. So take your left foot straight out to the left and your left hand, back of your left hand inside that left knee. Open yourself up and then bend deeply, flexing through that knee and ankle as you reach down. And your fingers don't need to touch the floor, but try to keep that front body open. And then bring your right hand down like you would for a table, but keep this left leg really pushing back. Lift your left arm up and under. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Inhale, open, and then left hand down. Lengthen that left leg back, and then cross it behind your right. Find that cross-legged child's pose. Just push your hips back, reach forward. Stretch through your outer armpits, and then come back to your hands and knees. And kind of paw the ground a little bit and just feel what feels really stable for your shoulders. The width of your fingers. Find kind of a little bit of an arch in your palm and claw the ground with your fingertips. We're going to rock our hearts forward and then just bend your elbows to lower part way and then come back. And do that 3 or 4 times. And then we can add a little challenge if you want. You can push back into child's pose. And then you can inhale yourself forward and lower down from there. Or you can push back into child's pose. And as you come forward, tuck your toes and lift your knees. So any of those, you can just stay from hands and knees, rocking forward and lowering down. Or you can push back to child's pose and rock forward. Or you can rock forward and float your knees. Wherever you are, let's just do 2 more. And then everyone pull back into a child's pose and pause. Your forehead comes to the floor. You can bring your hands together in a prayer. Bend your elbows and bring those prayer hands behind your neck. And just stretch through your triceps. And then bring those prayer hands back down to the floor. Your forearms are connected to the floor. Come up onto your shins, tuck your toes, and then lift your hips up and back for a dolphin. And just pause here. Really think about lengthening through your armpits. Push those outer wrists down. And just breathe. And bring your knees to the floor. And we'll just come up to a kneeling position. So you can be a standing kneel or a seated kneel, whatever you like. And bring your elbows in towards your rib cage. And just let yourself feel like you're holding like a plate of delicious food on each of your hands. Okay, so elbows stay in towards your rib cage, and then just externally rotate your arms. Really push your thumbs back as much as you can, and try to keep your lower ribs contained. And then bring your pinkies toward each other. And then really open wide with your hands. And then just keep doing that. Engage through the backs of your shoulders. And it's subtle. So when you push your thumbs back, you'll find that resistance. Just push back just a little bit past it. And let's do 3 more. Now keep this arrangement of your arms. Just bring your hands forward. And then bring your arms up so that your your elbows are shoulder distance apart, and then open out like a cactus here. So let those lower ribs stay settled down in. You may want to just splay your chest forward. So try to keep those low ribs down. And from here, we're just going to rotate. So keep your elbows the height of your shoulders. And just let yourself rotate your shoulders here. And think about this happening not from your neck, right? But from all of those rotators around your shoulder. So try to relax your face, your jaw, and your neck as you move just from your shoulder socket. You're just rotating, using all those little rotator cuff muscles around your shoulder. Okay, let's just do one more. And then from here, you're going to keep these cactus arms and then draw your elbows down toward your waist and really draw them toward each other. Engage through your back body. And then lift back up. Five more. And use some mindfulness in that back body. Last one. Keep your elbows down. Okay. And then flex through your wrists. Just bring your hands forward. So feel that engagement through your back body, right? And then we've just got our hands here in this chaturanga shape. But really feel that strength through your back body. And then release. Just bring your hands down. And we'll come into a plank. Your knees can be up or down. And just let yourself feel pretty strong in your plank. Now, feel like you're dragging your hands back towards your feet and your feet up towards your hands. Just feel that engagement through your core. And then a few times, push the floor away, protract your shoulder blades, and then let your shoulder blades come together. Retract. Push away, and then retract. Push away. Now keep that protraction. So you're pushing the floor away. Okay. You've got responsive hands. And now I want you to feel like you're pulling the floor toward you. Just pull the floor toward you as you lower all the way down. Awesome. And then come into a sphinx, elbows underneath your shoulders. And for a few rounds, we're just going to find a little bit of cat and cow movement here. So just tuck your chin, let your upper spine really round. You can even draw your belly up off the floor, maybe pubic bone up off the floor. And then drop everything down and let your heart look forward. And just move with your own breath there. Do one more. And then you're going to come down and bring your chest to the floor and your arms out to a T. Keep the back of your neck long and let your hands come in fists here. So you can keep your forehead on the floor, or you can just let your head gently lift up off the floor, but your chest is heavy. Your ribs are on the floor. And then just lift your arms and lower. So you're moving from your back body, lifting your arms and lower. Lift and lower. And there's 5. 3 more. 3, 2. Okay, when you get up, just pause there and keep lifting. And then we're going to externally rotate. So take those elbow creases, feel like you're pointing your biceps forward, and then internally rotate and feel like you're pointing your biceps back. Try to keep your arms up off the floor, forward and back. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Rotate forward, externally rotate, and then lift your arms a little higher. And then go ahead and relax. Relax, make a pillow for your forehead with your hands. And breathe. Look forward. Slide your hands along your chest. You can use your knees or tuck your toes. Find that engagement in your back body. So remember that external rotation of your upper arm bones. Find that engagement between your shoulder blades. Feel your foundation in your hands, really responsive hands. Tuck your toes or knees down. We're going to try to push up straight into plank. So contain your lower ribs, your front ribs toward the front of your pelvis, and then push the floor away. And make your way to downward facing dog. And just breathe there. You can pedal your legs out. Stretch. Inhale to lift your right leg up and back. And then exhale, step that right foot behind your right wrist. Plant your left heel. And we'll come up into warrior 1. And just reach your arms high. And just breathe there. Push back into that left heel. Lengthen up through your fingertips. And then we'll find our weight if you have a weight. Anything, but I'm going to grab, I've just got a 10-pound dumbbell. But from our warrior one, with your left hand, your right leg's forward. Just going to find a little bit of a lean forward. You can put your right hand on your right thigh. And we're just going to do an upright row here. But I want you to think about doing it in 2 parts. So even if you don't have a weight, you can do this without anything. But first, you're going to retract your shoulder blade. Then you're going to lift your elbow high. Okay, and then lower all the way down. Shoulder blade, and then elbow. And then lower. Shoulder blade, elbow, lower. And let's just do 10 to 15 here. We're only going to do 1 set. So you just move, but I want you to think of this pulling action. Not pulling. Shoulder blade, elbow. I have no idea how many I've done. Let's just do 2 more. And then release that down. Just plant your hands and step straight back into downward facing dog. Just pedal it out there. And then lift your left leg up and back. Draw that left knee toward your nose. And then plant your left foot behind your left wrist. Ground your right heel. Come up for your warrior one on the other side. Push down through that right heel. And just reach your arms high. And then lengthen through that whole right side. And then come forward and grab your resistance. Or you'll just use your arm. And even if you're just using your arm, you can go through the same motion, okay? So you're gonna draw your shoulder blade in and then lift your elbow and then let it come down smoothly. Shoulder blade, elbow. Shoulder blade, elbow. And just think, you can notice the difference from one side to the other. And just keep moving and keep breathing. Let's do 3 more. And then release. Put your weight away. Plant your hands. Make your way to downward facing dog. And then from there, rock yourself forward into a plank. Moving that a little further. Okay. Now, find that protraction of your shoulder blades. So pushing the floor away, shoulder blades are broad on your back. And then feel like you're dragging your hands back and your feet forward. Now remember that feeling of pulling your weight toward you. See if you can feel that. Pull the floor toward you and come down onto your belly. And then when you get it down on your belly, float your hands for a second. And then bring your hands back down. Tuck your toes. You can come up from your knees or keep your knees lifted and push yourself all the way up. And then go through 2 or 3 more push-ups there. I want you to lower all the way to the floor. So do the full range, and you can come up with bent knees or straight legs. But start from a plank and pull the floor toward you. And then you can come up either on knees or knees floated. And let's just do one more push-up. Push yourself up. And then come all the way down. And let's find an upward facing dog from here. Draw your shoulder blades together, float your hands up off the floor. Find that back body engagement. Then push your hands down. Draw your elbows toward your rib cage. And then reach your heart forward. Maybe lift your thighs up. Open your heart. Downward facing dog. Lengthen through from your pinky fingernail all the way up through your sitting bones. Inhale onto your tippy toes. Exhale, bend into your knees. Make your way to the top of your mat. Find your parallel feet. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale to fold. Inhale all the way to standing. Reach high. Exhale, hands to your heart. And just kind of check in with yourself here. Just notice how you feel. And we'll just do a couple rounds of a flow. See, maybe 2, maybe 4. See what we have time for. But really think, as we go through our vinyasa, as we lower in our chaturanga, think of that pulling the floor toward you and all of that strength that we've built around shoulders and back body. Inhale and reach high. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale to fold. Inhale, left foot back into a lunge, and then ground your left heel. Inhale up for warrior 2, and settle here. Inhale to reverse your warrior. Exhale into your side angle pose. So maybe right forearm on right thigh, maybe fingertips down. And just take 2 or 3 breaths here. In and out of your nose. And then we'll cartwheel left hand down. Rock onto the pinky edge of your left foot. Turn your right toes to the right. And you can find a modified side plank here. Find this external rotation of that left upper arm, or you can stack your right foot on top of your left. And then right hand down, find your plank. Feel like you're dragging your hands back and your feet forward. Pull the floor towards you, lower all the way down. Float your hands up, just engage your back body. Plant your hands, feel like you're dragging those hands back to lift your heart, cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. And breathe. Inhale onto your tippy toes, look forward. Exhale, bend your knees. Walk or jump to the top of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale all the way to standing, reach high. Exhale, hands to your heart. Inhale and reach high. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, right foot back. Exhale to ground that right heel. Inhale up for warrior 2. Open wide. Inhale, reverse your warrior. Exhale, side angle pose. Forearm to thigh, or maybe sneak down. Just enjoy some big expansive breath, big side body opening here. On your next exhale, plant your right hand to the floor. Find some external rotation of that right upper arm. So you're taking that elbow crease and pointing it forward. And then rock onto the pinky edge of your right foot. You can stay here. Just let your left toes point to the left. Reach up. Or you can stack left foot on right foot. And then left hand down. Find your plank. Drag hands toward feet, feet toward hands. Pull the floor toward you. Float your hands up, engage your back body. Plant your hands. Inhale, lift your heart. Cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale. Downward facing dog. Let's just pause here really briefly. Inhale onto your tippy toes. Exhale, bend your knees, step or hop to the top of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, all the way to standing. Reach high. Exhale, hands to your heart. Inhale, reach high. Let's go through that one more time. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, left foot back. Exhale, ground your heel. Set up for warrior two. Inhale, cartwheel your arms up. Exhale to settle. Inhale, reverse your warrior. Exhale, side angle pose. Take a breath in here. And then exhale, plant that left hand, rock onto the pinky edge of that left foot. Inhale, your side plank. Exhale, right hand down. Inhale, set up strong in your plank. Shoulder blades wide, pulling hands and feet toward each other. Exhale to lower. Float your hands, engage your back body. Inhale, reach your heart. Exhale, downward facing dog. Let your breath settle here. Inhale onto your tippy toes. Exhale, bend your knees, step or hop to the top of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, all the way to standing, reach high. Exhale, hands to heart. Last time. Inhale, reach high. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, right foot back. Exhale to ground your heel, set up for warrior two. Inhale, come on up. Exhale to settle. Inhale, reverse your warrior. Exhale, side angle pose. Inhale. Exhale, right hand down. Rock onto the pinky edge of that foot. Inhale to your side angle. Your side plank. Exhale, left hand down. Inhale, set up strong in your plank. Exhale, pull the floor toward you. Float your hands, engage that back body. Inhale, lift your heart. Exhale, downward facing dog. Really let it all go here. You can flubber your lips. Shake your head no. Nod your head yes. Just notice how strong you feel. And then come forward to plank. And lower all the way to your belly. And let's stretch our shoulders from here. So find a cactus shape with your right arm on the floor next to you. We do this all the time. So elbow in line with your shoulder. Look to your left. Bring your right cheek to the floor. And then just rock toward your right. Maybe Left toes come behind you. Let that right shoulder be heavy. If arm bent is too intense, you can straighten that right arm and just let it go straight out from your shoulder. Switch sides. So left, elbows bent, elbows in line with your shoulder, look to the right, roll onto that left hip. And rock onto your belly. And then bring your hands under your shoulders. Just push yourself up to hands and knees. And then hips to heels for a child's pose. Thread your right arm underneath your left. And then just cross your elbows in front of you. And then let yourself fold over your shoulders here. Maybe forehead comes to the floor. You can just fold your chin over your arms. And just breathe. And you can just keep your arms crossed. We'll just come up to a seated kneel. And then you can find your eagle arms here. Or just give yourself a big hug, either way. And then release your arms. We'll come back into that child's pose. This time thread your left arm under and cross your right arm in front. And just let yourself fold here. Your chin can just kind of rest over your upper arms. And just breathe into your outer shoulders. And then come on up. Just keep your arms crossed and you can find your eagle arms on the other side. Hands away from face, elbows same height as your shoulders. And then release your arms. And just like we started with, find a few neck rolls here, and you can let it be pretty free form. And just swing your legs to one side, scoot your bum to the middle of your mat, and make your way onto your back. And find one round of bridge that feels really good for you. So feet flat on the floor, knees bent, wiggle your shoulder blades together. You could hold on to the outer edges of your mat as you lift your hips, or you could interlace fingers underneath you. Really draw your triceps toward the floor. Open through your heart and your chest. Kind of find some dragging of your heels back toward your shoulders. Let the back of your neck be long. There's a little space between your neck and the floor. Let your throat feel open. Breathe in and out of your nose. And then as you're ready, make your way down onto the floor. Wiggle your shoulder blades out from underneath you. Just hop your hips over to the right and then lift your knees up and drop your knees to the left. Let your arms go out to a T. You can look to the right and you can play with the position of that right arm. Just kind of sweep it up and down till you find a really nice line of tension for your twist. It just feels like a nice stretch. And then let go of your knees, just bring them back up to center. You can hop your hips over to the left and then just lift your knees up, drop them over to the right. You can even bring your right hand on that left knee and then look to your left and play with your arm placement. Just find a place that really feels like a delicious ending to your practice today. And then unwind yourself. Get yourself symmetrical. Hug knees into chest. Maybe find a few breaths in happy baby. Just set your pelvis, your spine symmetrically. And then let yourself make your way to your final rest. Take up as much space on your mat as you can. Get all of your wiggles out. And you can kind of like feel the traction of your heels on the mat underneath you. And then kind of point and flex your feet there. And just feel that traction of wiggling your heels against the mat. Moving your toes forward and back. Just kind of let it rock your whole body. And shake your tissues. And just let yourself get a little bit of a shake there. And then release that effort and just totally let go and relax. Relax your face. Relax your neck, your shoulders, the whole length of your arms and let your heart feel receptive and open. Let your whole body get heavy. And just let your breath breathe itself. Just let it come softly in and out of your nose. And just know that your body can breathe in a really natural, intelligent way. It does not need to be deep to support you as you rest. Just return to that quote from the beginning. It is your birthright and natural state to be wise and noble, loving and generous, to esteem yourself and others, to be creative and constantly renewing yourself, to be engaged in the world in awe and in depth, to have courage and to rely on yourself, to be joyous and effortlessly accomplished, to be strong and effective, to enjoy peace of mind and to be present to the unfolding mystery of your life without needing to fix anything. And feel free to stay here for as long as you want. The divine light in me honors the divine light in you. Thank you for practicing with me. Namaste.